Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. Taking care of business.
Hello and welcome to Lay It On Me, an advice podcast. This is episode 3 with us. I'm Zach.
I'm Phil.
I'm Randy Newman.
Show people ain't got no, but on the real.
Just kidding. April Fools. I'm your own.
Wow, best April Fool's joke ever. You're joining us today on our special limited edition April Fool's joke, but we're not fooling around with today's advice. No. This is real deal stuff today. Seriously serious. But yeah, anybody get pranked today? Anything fun happen?
No.
Someone told me my card wasn't working, and I killed him. So
I got that too, actually. I didn't think it counted. I was just like, because it was so...
I thought he was just an asshole.
There was no punchline. It was
just like, your card didn't work, and I'm like, I wish I had money. Like, that was...
denying me sustenance. Like, you won't eat today. Kind of cruel.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was a good joke. If he got both of us, then that's gonna...
How many people did he actually use that joke on today?
Everyone that I saw.
We registered for senior classes.
Nice.
We did that. I'm officially now allowed to get the senior breakfast at IHOP.
We're
65 and over, I'll have you know.
Phil's graduating?
I am, yes.
How do you feel about that, Phil?
Horrible.
How do you feel about it?
Like, this week's just been like, 1 week I'll be on top of the world, the next week I'll be massively depressed and do absolutely nothing. This week was one of the
Eat a whole tub of ice cream.
Pretty much. Last night's dinner was unreal. Like, I totally ate my feelings.
What'd you eat?
Everything. Just whatever there was. I mean, I ate things.
Open a trash can.
Yeah, and then to top it off with 2 bowls of cinnamon Chex.
Chex,
like,
please.
Yes.
Am I right, ladies?
Yes.
Anyway, jokes and eating patterns and depression aside, let's get to the advice. Hey, Lay It On Me. I have this friend, and when it's just one-on-one conversation, we get along fine, and she treats me as an equal. However, when we're in a more public setting, like a party or something, she pretends I don't exist. I don't understand why this is happening, and I really don't like it. Please help me. And this comes from, sincerely, friend in private.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Okay, well, we know that the friend is a girl, but do we know the gender of the person asking the question? I assume it's a guy. I immediately jump to, like, romantic or sexual tension.
And they can just be two girlfriends.
2 girls.
So.
Okay, so it could not be. I jumped the gun to romantic inclinations, because when people treat you differently in private, it's usually because they trust you differently in private. Because for me, like, what if they have a boyfriend or something in public, but they treat you differently in private because there's some attraction or feelings or something in that way?
Yeah.
That's where I jump to. I don't know.
Or like they just don't want to be associated with you in public. That happens.
Maybe they're a different person in public.
What if
than
they
they
like,
are.
pick their nose?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like, maybe they have... I don't know. They drink a lot and they get really embarrassing.
Ooh, that's
or
good.
they're not stylish.
They're not stylish.
What if they wear socks and
okay.
sandals?
Heck yeah.
Hey, don't make fun of
Fanny packs.
Kekistan.
Kakistan.
Sort of a Steve.
Sounds like a Middle Eastern country. Kakistan.
Oh my gosh.
We're
We're gonna bomb Kakistan.
Gonna bomb Kakistan with dungarees.
Gosh dang it. So we're gonna solve the Middle East this episode, everybody.
We take it out of the middle and we put it
in the East.
Yes.
Gorillas in the Mist.
I thought you meant that really terrible, shitty movie, The Mist.
I missed it.
But yeah, I guess. Okay, so they treat you differently. So understanding that there is different social connotations in a group. So maybe they don't want to be associated with you, but for what reasons we could assess, I suppose, which would be something like, you're embarrassing, we've already discussed, or maybe they're embarrassed of themselves interacting with you and how they act around you.
True.
Because I always jumped at, like, the positive, like, oh, I don't want to be flirty and weird with this person.
Yeah.
I don't think it's your fault, maybe?
I don't know.
Or it could be. It could be. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a fault. I mean, it's an existing situation. I think it's not that important, like, how these 2 people got there. They're at that point right now.
I mean,
So
have the discussion, but then there's always the possibility of the person denying that they treat you differently.
Sure.
Which, I mean, I've come across some people who've been passive-aggressive and shitty towards me, and I've called them out. Said, hey, don't act this way, and then they go, oh, no, I didn't act that way, or whatever,
maybe,
you know?
Maybe calling out is not the way. Maybe just, like, you know, like, cause I'm a big favor of just, like, you know, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with calling out, I don't mean like, hey, everybody, look at this. I mean, calling out in the way like, hey, friend, you don't treat me correctly.
Hi, sir. I challenge you to a gentleman's duel.
Pistols are
And
done.
you slap them with like with a glove, but you put a horseshoe in it.
You cheat. You just kill them with the glove before the duel happens.
Like, Bugs Bunny.
I think it's important because the person doesn't really know. You know what I mean? Like they're not sure. Like this person just acts different in public than they do in private. And I think, is this the only person that you're friends with that this happens with? You know what I mean? Like, does this happen with other friends?
Oh,
If
so what's the problem?
The
Is it
most
you or the-
consistent thing in this
Yeah.
puzzle is you. It's just this one person. Maybe they're just
Let me spin it this way. You're friends, but do you have history?
there you go.
Yeah, maybe there's something romantic.
How long have you known each other? What's the... Because, like, if it's a romantic situation like your ex's, maybe there's still something going on. Because that would be the reason for treating you differently. It all seems very vague, the question, so we're just picking out whatever
Yeah.
straws we can find here, but...
A more public setting like a party, I could see the person being surrounded by friends that are closer or have known longer.
Oh, maybe.
What if it's just perceived? Like,
yeah.
maybe they aren't treating me differently,
That's true.
Maybe it's like you said, the setting is
Not
just
all
like
about you.
or maybe their friends just don't like you.
True. That too.
And that's not, like, anything against you, question asker.
I don't know. My rule for friends is if they don't make me feel good when I'm, and this is kind of sounds selfish, but if I don't walk away feeling, like good, then I don't
You're not
like being
friends,
around
huh?
folks that drain me. So
no,
if-
I totally agree. I don't think it's selfish. I think at one point in my life, I realized that I want to surround life is too short, and happiness is so hard to.
Yeah.
It's such an elusive thing, So you wanna surround yourself with people that make you happy, and if they make me miserable, then there's so many people in the world. Just like okay, well, goodbye. It was nice knowing you, and I'll find a new friend.
Exactly.
But are friendships worth working for?
Sure. I mean, it's not like you posted one thing that I didn't like on Facebook. We're not friends anymore.
Hey, that works. I unfollow me. One thing I don't like. That's it, chick.
That's
You gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously worth bringing it up in a one-on-one conversation.
But it sounds like they treat you differently one-on-one anyway. So, like, what are
maybe
they gonna do?
Maybe they don't realize that they treat you differently. Sometimes we do stuff and we don't realize until somebody point it out, and then you're like, okay, I guess I need to work on it.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I think I pretty much say it every episode that communication is always key in every kind of relationship. So talk to them. If you can reach out to them, that there's a mutual understanding there, then good. If not, and you keep being miserable, yeah, maybe you should reassess your friendship. I don't know.
What if you get a new group of friends, you ignore them in public?
Show them.
Show them up.
That happened once before.
But you like, okay.
It's called Hatfields and the McCoys.
But what you have to do is, they have a friend group, right? You get identical looking friends, but like slightly hotter.
So
Like they have like
Seinfeld episode.
they have like yeah, you have to get hot.
What if you join like a cult or a secret society?
Bizarro.
Oh, and they
Jerry.
can't come.
The Skull and Bones,
Or just like a lawn
Freemasons.
bowling.
Freemasons.
Lawn bowling team. I think that's what I do. In
You join,
Yeah.
you join the Freemasons. You're like, hey, Jim, do you want to hang out this Saturday? It's like, no, I'm just going to the lodge. I think I'm gonna hang out with my
Sorry,
my,
can't.
with my Masons.
Harold and Lester, my Mason.
My Masons.
My brothers.
Sorry, I'd like to waste my time with you, friend girl, but got all these
No, I'm not
lawn
into-
bowling friends.
Yeah.
The Lodge
Do you want to grab?
brothers.
Do you want to grab coffee, Jim? I don't know. I'm not so much into coffee. I'm kind of getting into world domination these days, and
I'm kind of into summoning ancient spirits.
Yeah.
Secret
Right now.
societies. Don't tell your friends.
I'm kind of a Jesuit now. Oh, you know.
I'm a Wiccan, so just that man.
A weekend Wiccan.
Wait.
A Wiccan.
Wiccans, dude, that'd be so dope.
Like Weekend
Vampire-
Warrior.
That would be my favorite TV show.
Weekend Wiccans.
Vampire Wiccan.
I love-
You're actual vampire.
But you give up the gun. You're
Yes.
so
While drinking horchata.
Move it on. Hopefully we helped you, your best friend in private. Hopefully you'll be friend in public soon, and you'll write back to us. Okay.
Question 2.
Hey, Lay It On Me.
Electric Boogaloo.
I hate my job, but I'm afraid to quit it as I don't know if I can get a better one. I mean, I just really don't like where I am, and I feel stuck. And this comes from Sincerely Dead End Job.
Uh-oh.
It's too familiar.
Yes.
I've worked retail.
Yeah, I work customer service.
Oh, it's the worst, man.
Yeah, I worked in a call center, like a tech support call center for cell phones, and it really sucked.
Yeah.
So I was there for like almost a year and a half, and when I finally quit my job, it was the best feeling ever.
I think because I worked a job and went to community college before I came to this school, which I must say is it's so far been a good decision. Who knows, But I think any decision you're making out of fear is not the right decision.
Yeah.
I think you need to make a decision out of honest intention and not out of what ifs, because you can't control any of those. Yeah.
Too true.
And you probably ended up in this crappy job because of fear. You took this job because you were too afraid, to maybe wait for a better job to come.
Yep.
And now you're stuck.
Unless you thought this was a good job.
Maybe.
Which is the case, I suppose. But then why would you call yourself dead end job? Anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I had an issue like this happen to me last year. I had a job that I was in that I hated being in, and I didn't enjoy working it. And the biggest thing that when I came down to deciding to leave the job or stay, I realized the only thing that wanted me to stay was fear. And I had one of those like epiphany moments where I was like, if I choose to go with the job out of fear this time, the next time down the road, I'll choose fear again. And I'll end up in a dead-end job or a job that I hate in the middle of my life and ask how I got there. So I chose to like do the scary thing and quit the job that I hated. And it always works out.
I mean, and there are intricate things like, I don't know, I assume you're college age because that's where we can get our questions from. But if you have kids and like a mortgage and that kind of thing, obviously there are intricacies there that we're not addressing this moment. But if it's draining you to the point of what sounds like depression, then you need to move on. You need to find something and really draw on yourself and, okay, why do you hate this job? And make sure that the next job you're applying for let's address this then. How do you get the job you want?
I just wanted to say, even before that, because it's your happiness. I think your happiness is like one of the most important things in life. Just be happy. Because life kind of short. It ends, and if you just work your butt. So yeah, you earn some money.
She's working. She's working her ass
but
every
you'll
day.
be in great shape.
Leg day every day.
Yeah. No, but if you work really hard, let's say every day, but you hate your life. So okay, like is your happiness really worth $10 an hour or whatever you're making at this that job?
Oh man, I wish I was making $10 an hour where I used to work. I made $8.
Ooh.
Exactly. So, but he says like it's a dead end job,
Fair. Yeah.
So sure, maybe he makes 8, maybe even if he makes 15 or $20 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
Does it really is that the price for your happiness?
Ooh, what is the price of happiness?
Priceless.
$8.75. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I'm a
yeah,
cheap man.
I don't know. Maybe look at that this way.
Yeah, another thing too is this makes me think of like, because I think of how does this affect me long term. Like if I stay in a job that I hate now, I'm just creating patterns that I'm going to follow for the rest of my life at this stage of my life. So I don't ever want to be in that kind of a. And then again, it's just the whole like staying in a job you hate, so soul sucking. Why would you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can realistically get a million jobs you hate.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, I've worked retail and I'm able to get retail jobs anytime I want.
Yeah.
It's not, you come in with a smile and a polo shirt and you give them a good old thumbs up. You say, I have a birth certificate and I can work here. And they're like, oh, good job, chief. And then they let you on the team.
You're a little overqualified, but I'll take you.
But come on in. Got khakis? I'm like, I'm already wearing them. They're like, good job. Here's
Got
the
them
name
from
tag.
khaki stands.
Khaki stands.
stands.
Especially important.
Imported from Kakistan.
Especially important from Kakistan.
100% khaki.
Because I know, I'll tell you what, like what I did when I used to work at the call center. So the reason I quit the job was because of I was working a shitty job. I didn't feel fulfilled. I was on a path that I wasn't happy with, and I kind of reassessed my life. And I realized I always wanted to be an artist. I always wanted to do basically what I'm doing now. And I was like, okay, so I'm kind of like realizing where I am in my life right now, and then like where I want to get, and you kind of figure out how do I get from the point I am right now to where I want to be happy. And I just did my research, did everything, realized basically what I need to do to get where I want to be. And then when I knew what I need to do, I quit my job and started working towards my goals, and that gave me a new thing to do. But like you pursue something that's way more positive and actually gonna put you in the place you want to be.
I mean, you've got to make that leap at some point.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of the security net, because let's be honest. I mean, obviously you're a lot older than I am. Not a lot, but marginally so older than I am. But the same decision was made. I hate where I'm at. I know that I want to work as an illustrator, an artist, that kind of thing. And how do I get to where I go? And of course, there's no safety net. And I still took the jump anyway, and I left home and I came here. But I think moving forward, I've realized that it was a better decision. And if I stayed working at that pet store, I would have been at the pet store for years and years.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing, too, is what's hard about leaving a job that you hate is that the job offers security.
Mm-hmm.
And they always tell you don't quit a job until you have another one lined up. But let's be honest, like the best success stories are the ones that like, oh, I quit my job and I didn't have anything else lined up. Like the founders of Google or whatever, like they quit their jobs and didn't have anything else. But that forces you to hustle. Like, and if you're going to hustle after what you actually want,
Wait, are you telling me to like just hustle?
Full hustle.
Well, like,
Yeah, you need to stop your job
really,
and just hustle.
Like really
Yeah.
pedal to the metal, kind of go after what you want. It'll really inspire you to go for what you actually want to do because you'll have no choice.
Because every day you're hustling.
The killing floor, they call it. Harmonica solo.
No, I agree though.
God, that air harmonica was beautiful. I'm so sad we're on a podcast, Phil, because that's not going anywhere.
Just Phil moving his head left and
Let me
right.
go ahead and put in subtext here. Phil, air harmonica.
Is that Bob Dylan?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Just
can't do
blowing-
it again.
I'm
The air harmonica isn't going to go anywhere, Phil.
blowing my fingernails. That's all.
The dryer wasn't working in the bathroom.
By the way,
After I paint my nails, I never know what to do.
Phil can do a killer Bob Dylan impression.
I can because I killed him to get this impression.
Bob Dylan's still alive.
He is still kicking.
So, okay, in my trunk.
For the time being, he's alive and kicking. But I think we've answered this to the best of our abilities.
That's how I like
Yeah, I mean, realistically, dude, like, unless something's really, really holding you back, you gotta move forward for yourself. And even if there are things like responsibilities, you have to understand that you owe yourself before you owe anything else in this world in the moment.
Yeah, if you're sick, like, it's one thing, okay, if you have a family, if you have kids to support and all that stuff, you have to be a little bit more careful and more smart about it. Well, you have to be smart all the time about your decisions, but I mean, you can take more risks if you're single. And even if it means that you have to take a small step back in life to advance 2 steps later, like you don't have the security, you lose. You
take 2 steps back.
Well,
Paul Abdul.
Yeah, Paul Abdul. Let's say, okay, so this job was the reason you're able to pay, your bills, your rent or whatever. And if you quit your job, you have to move back with your parents. You know what? Nothing will happen if you move back with your parents for, like, let's say a year to build your life again.
Unless you're like 42, and then that's kind of embarrassing, dude.
It's embarrassing. You know what? It's even better to have like 1 year that you kind of like, it's kind of weak, it's kind of embarrassing. Oh, so, big freaking deal. So you move back with your parents so you kind of need to, it will give you the platform to restart your life and go in a new direction that it's way more positive and like you will end up where you want to be. And let's say, okay, so you did that in 5 years from today, you're at the best place you've ever been so far in your life. It doesn't really matter. So you move back with your parents for one year. It doesn't matter.
Well, we answered that.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, amen.
Shout me down, brother.
Shot through the heart.
Pastors aside. Anyway,
Shout me down.
So I think, pastor impressions aside, we're ready for the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Hey, Tommy. I find myself stuck in patterns lately. I feel unmotivated and like every day is the same. I don't know how to break this pattern and I find myself terribly unhappy. What should I do? This comes from stuck in a rut.
This is me right now. This is really scary. Like,
Well, I feel like, okay, if you wake up every day, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You have the same goals every day, blah, 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 blah.
You mean you're becoming an adult?
yes, right. No, like, actually, I kind of read a study. Yeah, I read a study. So a study said that, like, college life is the most routine form of life. Like, you are down to, think about how routine our lives are.
Yeah.
Every day at, like, 11:07, 11:15, you eat lunch. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Yeah.
So it's really easy. The best way is to mix it up with, like, just... if you're on
Take a big ol'
autopilot,
spoon. Mix
yeah,
that-
we
mix it like that.
autopilot our days, and if you're on autopilot,
We're just another brick in the wall.
yeah, just take note of it and then just go do something different than your regular deal.
Exactly. I think, you know what? If you go to lunch every day at 11:07, maybe try 12:30.
11:08.
But then nobody would eat with you. It would be like the weirdo that eats.
But I'm saying you go out.
Guilty.
Oh, you go out.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, when I was working a shit job, what I would do is, I mean, eventually there was points where I would just sit in coffee shops and just hang out because like that would be my way to get away from my goddamn shitty life. Yeah. But I lived about 30 minutes outside of Dallas, and one day I got the hair up my ass to just take the train and just go to Dallas. And
Yeah, that's cool.
I threw down the money, and I was so fucking glad they had a train system. God dang, it was amazing. But
Go on adventures.
yeah, just get yourself out there and do something. I went to the museum by myself, and you know what? I fucking got lost. But anyway, not in the museum. That would have been embarrassing. But around the museum, outside, let's say.
Hey kid, where's your parents?
Anyway, anyway, I went out, and you know what? And I would do this maybe once a month. I would go out with a friend or something, and you know what I also think is the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, definitely.
We're in college, so we're gonna surround ourselves theoretically with the same couple of people for about 3 years, 4 years maybe.
No, like the 5 people you spend. Like if you want to see who you are or who you're becoming, just take a look at the 5 people. Or how's it? I can tell who you are by looking at the 5 people you hang out with the most, because
5 fingers, so 1 hand.
yeah, basically it's easy
Because I
for
can
the-
only
for the
count to
illustration.
5.
Yes, no, but like who you hang out with has incredible importance.
Tell me who your friends, and I'll tell you
Exactly,
who you are.
who you're gonna be or who you are.
Who you're gonna be in the future.
Yeah,
Let me read your poem.
exactly.
You have a long lifeline.
Well, this is Steve, and Steve's,
It's your thumb.
You just have 5 hand puppets, and you're a freak. That's what you're gonna be. I can tell.
Yes.
I think, don't be afraid to seize the moment, kind of like what Zach said. Also, maybe develop a hobby or something. I don't know.
I recently picked out the spoons.
Yeah, you pick the spoons. I remember when I worked in the crappy job, so to break the pattern, I learned to play guitar.
Nice.
I feel like, hobbies, but
I wasn't good at
I'm
it.
a being of social nature. I love the internet age because I picked up online gaming a lot more, because then you can actually talk to people, which sounds lonely and pathetic because it is, and that's what I was. As I would be very miserable at home. You know, you work, especially if you're working, I worked retail, so you work till 10 or 11 at night, you get home, everybody's already in bed if you live in the suburbs, and everybody on the internet's awake. So they'll hang out with you. They don't care till when. So you go and talk to these people, and you meet new people as you go, and they're all doing whatever. So I think getting like a freshness, as Phil said, the 5 people you hang around with, what if you shuffle that up?
Yeah.
What if you get a couple of new people in there? And not that you have to kick out old friends, but
Yeah.
expose yourself to new things, new ways of thinking, and that kind of thing. I personally take in a large amount of poetry right now, and fresh poetry, contemporary stuff mostly, because it's just new things for me to process.
Yeah, books. I find that books are huge. If I finish a book and I start a new
I
one.
only read little books. I don't know about huge books.
Yeah, pamphlets, really.
No
Flyers.
plans.
Yes.
I just
Shopping
read
list.
the backs of cereal boxes.
Yes. I mean, because every time you start a new book, it's like a new experience. And that's another thing, hanging out with someone new. Probably the peak of my week last week was whenever I went to my usual coffee shop, but I went with someone new. And I hung out, and it was just refreshing because it broke up the routine.
No joke. Have you ever bumped into somebody you knew at a coffee shop?
Yes.
It is a delight. You're sitting there by yourself. I draw at coffee shops because I'm a nerd. So, but I'm sitting there and I'm drawing, and a friend comes, sits down, and we just talk about shitty 80s movies. Like,
It's awesome.
he drew Queen Latifah making grits, and she was also an octopus.
Yes.
I don't know how that happened, but I drew a House Party 3 characters. And that was, God, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense,
I
but
mean-
like, break the mold. And there's no one's going to do it for you. This podcast can't do it for you. You have to actively want to make the decision.
And speaking of this podcast, maybe the reason we started it is to break the routine.
Maybe.
Yeah, of course.
But now we're
this
going to get
will
in a new
become
routine.
The
Like,
routine.
oh no, we have to do this podcast every week.
What do you do whenever something you once enjoyed becomes routine?
You make it fresh.
How?
Yeah, like
Well, drawing is different. I know for one, like for me, I do a lot of figure drawing, right? You know what I did today in figure drawing? I drew drapes. I drew full. I didn't even look at the model. I just drew all the shitty cloths lying in the room.
I drew Drake's.
I drew Drake, the artist.
I drew Josh's.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
And we brought our drawings together to create Drake and Josh. And
God,
it
that was a
wonderful.
long joke.
A very good show.
No, not a show. That joke was long,
Very
Phil.
good show.
It was actually really witty for a kid's show. The writer on that was solid. What was it, Mark? Something.
Oh, the guy that created it was Dan.
Dan Schneider, right?
Dan Schneider.
But who was the writer? There's a
Dan
good writer.
Schreider.
I think we've answered all we could in this question, and I hope you got something out of it, Rut, and I hope you get yourself unstuck here. And it's hard. I mean, it sounds really easy, but it is a hard thing to do because you have to keep breaking until the mold is gone.
I personally keep a really shitty sleep schedule. So
I just love having a good sleep schedule, right? I wake up at like 9 every day, and it's fantastic. I want to wake up at like...
I wish I could do that.
I woke up at 7 this morning, and I hated myself because it's different from my schedule, but I'd like to wake up at 7, ideally.
I hate having a terrible sleep schedule, and I love it at the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If it makes sense.
I can't stay up late. I like waking up at 6 in the morning.
Sometimes I like it, sometimes I hate it.
Hopefully you got something out of that, Rut, and, hopefully you get yourself unstuck here. Next question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, Lay It On Me. I've been single for a while now, but I don't want to be. However, I'm not really interested in anyone, but I feel like I really want to be dating someone right now. I just find myself kind of apathetic. What should I do? And this comes from a little lonely but not in love.
Okay.
Enjoy your life as it is right now. Singleness is a gift.
Yeah.
Holy fuck bags, no.
One that
agree
people
with that.
often want to return, but
God,
nevertheless.
But you ain't got your receipt. That's a 60-day policy.
Yes.
It's day 59 and you can't find it.
And it was on layaway.
Oh man, they never do it.
Just nulls all of them.
And you used a card that expired. They can't put it back in your card now.
It's a gift card, so you get store credit. That's the
Oh,
worst
I
part.
think
You
we-
can't get your money back.
I think we got lost in that metaphor.
No, I think it got lost in translation. I love Scarlett Johansson.
Metastore.
And Scarlett Johansson's ass. That movie.
Lord, thank you for that. Anyway, I think you haven't found. Okay, there is the idea that you have unrealistic. Let's nail down the possibilities here. Unrealistic expectations. So maybe have you dated people before? Would be my first question. And then if no, you're inexperienced. You don't know what you want. Probably.
And not in World of Warcraft. Like in real life.
Anyway, okay, so have you dated people before? What are your expectations? Because you have to understand that people are people and they have flaws and things, so don't have your expectations too high. Second of all, if your expectations are high, and maybe it's I don't know if it's physical shallowness or like maybe you're looking for like intellectual stimulation, you haven't found that yet.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't fuck a book, except you can with Shalhoub.
Latest product.
Tony Shalhoub. Anyway, but so I think what you need to do is you have to find new people, I guess, because somebody isn't sparking your interest. Are you looking for people? Is that a thing you're doing? And it's usually, in my experience, relationships aren't active looking. Somebody just, two things fall together and it happens usually.
I don't know. I found that the best way to not get something is to actively look for it.
That's not
if that
true.
makes sense.
No, if I lose my keys, I look for them.
Yeah.
But like abstract things like relationships or direction in life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it
sometimes that stuff
happens.
or like a good show. I had
I
a
don't
good
know.
show. I like a good show to find me.
Yeah, but I think your standard, when you start looking for something, you come up with a checklist. You're like, this is what I'm looking for. And then
True.
standard psych yourself out.
But then it's like, sometimes you just meet a person you don't expect. You know what I
don't know
mean?
if you can leave those things to just chance. I mean, it's not.
You can't just sit at home and go like, oh God, nobody's coming to me.
Yeah,
like the
like-
male woman isn't a hot model.
Like life is not a rom-com.
Milkman's not game.
You know, it's not a movie that somebody's gonna knock at your door. Like you're gonna meet that waitress
I mean,
at a
you
cafe.
can't sit at
and so you're
home. You
gonna
can't
lock
sit at
eyes.
home. You have to be out and about in the world and interacting and doing new things. But
But maybe that's it. Maybe they aren't doing
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
maybe
what I wanted to
that's
say.
where
Maybe
Okay.
it's a location thing.
if
you
this
know?
person, well, okay, so this also goes hand in hand with breaking up routine. Signing up to volunteer at like dog shelters Gets you meeting new people, doing new things.
Get you meeting them
Get a
fancy
dog.
slunts. Get a dog.
That's like the easiest way, to meet people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get a dog, volunteer at dog shelters, or take an improv class.
Or hang out with
Yeah.
your dogs out at
Take
the
an
bar.
improv class.
Take an improv class will make you more
Yeah.
comfortable with yourself.
And
too.
you could end up meeting people in the class that you really enjoy being around.
Hold
Yeah.
up. Making you more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
What if the reason you aren't dating someone is because you're not comfortable with you?
Could very well be.
So, like, you're looking for somebody, but maybe, I don't know if it's like they don't fit your standards, or what if you don't fit what you perceive their standards are. And you put that pressure onto yourself.
Does he
Because
want-
I have done that.
Does he want a relationship though? Like, oh, did I miss it?
Doesn't know. Kind of
I
does.
feel like I really want to be dating someone, I just
Oh,
find myself
okay.
apathetic.
Okay.
Ooh, maybe they
So
okay,
like
so.
kind of feeling the stirrings, but also not knowing where to begin. Because like I
Ooh.
said, here's what's great about volunteering and improv classes. You're bettering yourself, and you're also putting yourself out there to be meeting more people while gaining skills and growing as a person at the same time. It's two birds with one
I think
stone.
any kind of class would work.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everyone in there is a beginner.
Improv's a little bit more hands-on, kind of gets people
Yeah.
laughing and stuff, like HTML class, if that's kind of people you want to meet.
I mean, I don't think you go to a spin class to meet people.
Yeah.
Hey now.
I mean, you're an all-star. But
I actually I'd like to sit in on a spin class sometime.
I would not. I just don't.
Really?
I can do that on my own time. It doesn't have to be like 20 other sweaty guys around me.
Maybe.
Or
Yeah.
gals. I don't even care. Sweaty people are sweaty.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'd be pretty, just to experience it.
Really? You think a spin class is an experience?
Yeah.
I mean, everything is
Everything's an experience.
technically, but some
Running in the morning is an experience because I look up at the trees as I'm running.
being mugged on the street is an experience, but it's a crappy one. Like
Yeah,
you want to
getting
avoid
shot
it.
is an
Yeah,
experience.
getting shot. You don't
I
want that.
mean, walking into a new bathroom is an experience.
Sure, walking into bathroom and somebody crapped all over the walls is also an experience.
Sitting in this,
Yeah, but you have that frame of
Bunker.
reference. You're like, yeah, this is bad, but it's not the time I went to a wall
Yeah.
where there was shit everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, some experiences you want to avoid.
But, I mean, realistically, put yourself out there and get yourself experiencing things. And maybe we're in a college, so the idea is that you're stuck in a student body for the most part. And you can go out in the world and we can do
Yeah.
spin classes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or maybe you explore new avenues. I know we're stuck in different majors, so maybe go explore people in a different major.
yeah.
Maybe you go out, maybe you sit at home and you work too often. Maybe you go out and have some fun every once in a while. Or maybe you don't work often and you're always out partying with idiots and you want to meet someone more intellectual, so go hang out in the labs. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the guy's like, maybe he just got out of a really big relationship, and he's not ready yet too. You know?
We don't know his dating history or hers.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So that's kinda-
we have no gender.
Because I mean, maybe it's just maybe you need this some alone time. You know, maybe you
Yeah,
got out of
work on
something really
yourself.
long or like really bad. Maybe it was good, but just over, and you're not ready for that emotional investment yet.
So
Don't force it.
go volunteer at the dog shelter, go take an improv class, grow as a person. Meantime, you're meeting people.
Like,
Two birds, one stone.
God, that voice was. I'm not ready for that. Anyway. Two birds, one stone.
Two
I'm
birds,
Phil
one
Leslie.
stone.
This is my voice. I go up and down.
Calvin in the next 30 minutes, and you will get 4 birds, 2 stones,
And stoned.
and a gift certificate to
Kakistan.
a lifetime subscription to Kakistan's Khaki Emporium.
Holy shit. Palestinian guy runs a khaki place. We call it khaki stands.
Khaki stands.
That is my favorite skit for our new comedy show.
Stands on.
He's just, there's nothing like, he's Palestinian, perfect English, perfect everything. His
Yeah.
name's Stan, and he's just khaki stands.
He's speaking with a slight British accent even. Where's the sweater
Hello,
vest?
welcome to Kakistans. and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. Back
Now
to the
a
question.
certified vendor
Crazy khaki stand.
of Shalhoub. I would just love to see Tony Shalhoub repping those commercials. Just like,
That'll be amazing.
He's like,
"Hi, I'm Tony Shalhoub." Like his awkwardness.
oh, you talking like
When
monk level?
Like a Billy Mays kind of
Yeah.
a, "Hi, Billy Mays
Except for
here
he's just salute.
for this hose. It sprays."
And you will put water in it. But back to the question before we stray too far.
Khaki stands the gold of this podcast is all.
I think Randy Newman jokes are our foundation. So anyway, I think there's something more here because it seems like you don't. So are you just unhappy in general? Is that the biggest thing? Are you depressed? Maybe you don't like yourself. Maybe you should try to figure out how to enjoy your company. Or maybe you started to work on yourself and you are interested. It's just finding somebody that interests you. And I think that's the biggest problem is like, stay as genuine as possible. Don't force anything and just be as true to yourself as you can. I mean, people force themselves into interim relationships all the time and have fun for a little bit, but I'm not that kind of person. I find it really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm the worst at faking being genuine and faking affection. I'm just terrible.
Yeah, I did that for like a little bit. I'm like, it actually got me kind of depressed. I'm like, I didn't like that, you know.
All those one night stands. Your own just woke up.
No,
one night
I mean,
and was
not-
like,
not-
what is it all for?
Well, that
Yeah.
was after we bought our bedroom set. He got the one night
Yeah.
stand. And
One
he
night
returned
stand.
it.
Yeah, and now I'm
All of these night
I'm a happily
stands.
married man. No, I mean just like dating like for a short period of time.
I mean, it's not like you're looking like, I'm going to marry. But for me, I have to be able to consistently talk to the person about whatever.
New things.
Yeah, essentially. Like, they have to be in the same place in their life as I am in mine. Which
Yeah,
is, if you're
that's a big
like, for me, I'm a very curious person. I'm very exploratory. And I like to shout out new ideas and talk and do that kind of thing a whole bunch.
What's it like to shout?
You know what's annoying?
Throw your hands up and shout. Okay, go on.
Intellectually, when you're talking with someone who is not on the same level as you, that's really difficult. But you know what I hate is whenever I run into someone, and this happens all the time, but like talking to people who are way smarter than you, and you just feel horrible because you know you've experienced talking to someone a lot dumber than you, and you know that you're now that person.
Well,
You
you
just
know
feel
what?
sorry
Phil?
for the person that's very smart.
There's going to be a day when you realize we're dumber than you, and you're going to leave this podcast.
I don't know. Finn is just nodding his head.
Oh, man. No, but that's like, and I'm very bad at faking, because you know what's my least favorite? Is when somebody who, like, doesn't get it, fakes getting it.
Oh yeah.
That is the worst. And I don't mean to sit here in my ivory pretension tower going
Your
like,
ivory bunker.
oh, you can't possibly understand my Shaloub references, you immigrant.
Pakistan.
You don't know.
don't
It's
know.
because Pakistan sounds like Kakistan.
There be a packing company next door to
Packing. Packing.
Pakistan.
Yeah, packing stand. That's the difference.
Packing stand. Can we do an Uzbekistan pun?
I was looking. I was like oozing. Okay,
I
so
was like,
something's like.
Uzbek.
Your back is oozing.
No.
Come to Uzbekistan. Everybody has the same
who's back
problem
in
here.
stands or something like.
Who's back at stands?
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Oh, that's good. Oh man. Now how are we gonna do Azerbaijan?
Oh my goodness.
Azerbaijan? No.
Is that from
Djibouti.
Is that from Lord of the Rings?
Oh.
I bet there are people out there that think it's like Azkaban from Harry Potter. It's like the
Azkaban.
same thing.
Alakazam.
Alakazam from from
It's my favorite country we bombed.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Nintendo, didn't we bomb that place?
Before the side beam, before the side beam does,
Yes.
we nuke them
We don't do confused.
before they
We cannot
evolve
handle
to Alakazam.
But I think, for me, it's always finding people stimulating. That's why I don't date people usually, is because they're not, like, my physical standards really aren't that high, whatever.
Do you have
okay.
teeth? 2 arms? Hair maybe?
And are you willing to do anything? No, but realistically, find someone. God, I think you just have to talk to a lot of people. You have to really shoot shit for a while. Essentially, find someone. Well, you don't have to find someone. You just go out, meet people, try to do your best, put yourself out there at least. Don't like wait for people to fall on your lap. But there's no reason to, like, I'm gonna date every person I find like slightly
See
attractive.
if you even find someone you like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you say, there's pressure to date someone, but if you don't, you know what I mean?
Well, they
Like,
don't say it's outside pressure. They feel like internal pressure. Was that it?
Yeah.
What about?
Well, internals outside, because you see other people and you're like, they're all dating. I should be dating.
Yeah.
I'm a manatee.
How about Craigslist?
Yeah, because you want to meet some dude in an alley and have him blow you
furniture.
for 20 minutes while you pretend his name's Sarah.
The quality
Maybe
women,
that's what he wants.
The quality women hide in the used furniture section, I found.
I find they're always
Are we
looking under.
objectifying women?
Yeah, she rides all right, but you know, I had to turn her over. The mileage was too high.
An Ethiopian model, 4 legs. Like, I don't know.
I only like
that.
2.
2 legs?
I can't do 4 legs. Yo, maybe you haven't found the nice 4-legged gal for you. Maybe you're into horses.
Hey, work at the pet store.
Yes.
You'll find a nice four-legged
My ancestors were shepherds.
German shepherds.
That'd actually be a really interesting plot. Never mind.
For what?
Some kind of a twisted movie. Like Her.
She's a sheep.
Yeah. Sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, but the movie's just called She, and the end is.
It's like Her, but she's a sheep.
She.
She. With a P silent.
I mean, that's kind of like. I think that's just bestiality. I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
It is.
But you fuck one goat. God, old jokes. Anyway, I hope you got something out of that. That was our last question for today. Remember, it's a jungle out there.
It's jungle out there. Disorder and confusion everywhere. No one seems to care. Well, I do. Hey, who's in charge here? It's jungle out there.